This is what a UK online business owner earning 10k a month actually keeps after tax. And this is the same person, same business, same work, after setting things up properly overseas. In this video, I'm going to show you why earning over £100,000 in the UK is costing you far more than you think, and it has nothing to do with your tax rate. My name is Lewis Leonard. I'm a chartered accountant, and I work with online business owners globally to legally minimize their tax. 2 years ago, I was in the UK. Corporate job, comfortable life, doing well on paper, but I made the move to Thailand with no connections, no business plan, just a laptop and enough money to figure something out. And what I didn't expect was how much I'd underestimated the real cost of the life I'd left behind. And if you're sitting here thinking, I'll get to this in a year or two, what I'm about to show you will tell you exactly what that decision is going to cost you. Imagine this, it's the start of the month, you've had a good one, 10k landed in the account, before you've paid a single bill, before you've reinvested a penny back into the business, before you've done anything at all, £4,000 to £5,000 of that is already gone. Not because you made a bad decision, just because it's the first of the month and you're based in the UK. Now multiply that by 12. 3 months? £12,000 gone before you've had a chance to do anything with it. 6 months? £24,000. A full year? Up to £48,000. But that's just the direct loss. Here's where it gets more interesting. That same £24,000 reinvested into your ads or put into your S&P 500 compounds into something significantly larger over 2 to 3 years. You're not just losing the tax saving, you're losing what the money could have become. And that gap doesn't stay the same, it grows. Think about what £50,000 a year actually means for your business. That's the annual salary of a full-time team member, someone running your operations, managing your ads, building your systems, or it's ad spend going back into acquiring new customers. And if your business converts, that return doesn't stay flat, it compounds. Every month you're not deploying that capital, you're not just losing money, you're losing everything that money could have generated. Now the financial cost is actually the easy part to understand. What's harder to see, and in my experience far more damaging, is what it does to the business. I want to tell you about Will. When Will first reached out, he was earning around £10,000 a month. On paper, things were going well, but he'd hit something he couldn't quite name. A point where growing the business no longer felt exciting. It felt pointless because every time he looked at scaling up, the numbers didn't work. Push past £100,000 a year in the UK and you're handing so much money back to the tax man that growth actually starts to cost you. So Will had started doing what so many other business owners in his position do, quietly capping himself, turning down clients he should have taken, pulling back on ad spend, taking his foot off the gas and telling himself he'd push harder once things were set up differently. He told me the worst part wasn't even the tax. It was that he'd stopped being excited about what he built. He had a business that was genuinely working, and instead of thinking about how to grow it, he was thinking about how to keep it small enough that growing it wouldn't hurt him. He'd built a ceiling into the way he thought and he hadn't even realized it. A business that stops growing doesn't stay the same. It goes backwards. The momentum, the market attention, the energy in the team, all of it requires forward motion to maintain. And when you consciously decide not to grow, things start to quietly drift. 12 months from now, if nothing changes, the ceiling is still there. The team member you could have hired isn't there. The ads you could have run haven't run. The business that could have been existed doesn't exist. And you're still telling yourself you'll sort it next quarter. And beyond the numbers, think about why you built this. You built it for freedom, no ceiling, no limit on what you could earn, and then the system in your own country quietly takes that drive away from you. That's not a financial problem, that's a motivation problem, and those are a lot harder to fix. Will made the move, set things up properly, and within 12 months he'd gone from 10k to 50k a month whilst paying 0% tax.
If someone's on the sidelines about working with Lewis or even just investigating their tax, it is a literal no-brainer.
The financial difference was obvious, but what he keeps coming back to, what actually surprised him, was what happened to the way he thought. He said it felt like someone had handed his business back, like he'd been driving with the handbrake on without knowing it, and finally someone reached over and let it go. Now this is the one that almost never gets talked about, and it's the one that surprised me the most when I made the move. The UK is one of the hardest places in the world to build an online business, not just because of tax, but because of the environment around you. Most people in your life, your friends, your family, the people you grow up with are all in a 9 to 5. They don't understand what you're building. They don't understand why you work the way you work and why you think the way you think. And and you end up doing most of it alone. After a while, you stop even trying to explain it because the conversation never really goes anywhere. I remember a dinner about a month after I'd moved to Thailand. I was sat around a table with 4 people I've met a couple of weeks earlier. One was running an e-commerce brand, one was doing consulting, one had a content business, and one was building a SaaS product. Within about 20 minutes, we were deep into a conversation about acquisition channels, what was working on Meta, what wasn't, how to hire offshore, how to structure things properly for the long term, and that conversation I would never have had back home. Not because the people weren't smart, just because nobody around me was doing this. I walked home that night thinking I'd learned more in that dinner than I had in the previous 6 months. That's what the environment does. Suddenly you're surrounded by people operating at a level above where you are, people who've already solved the problems you're still working through, and it changes how you think what's possible for you. Adam didn't just save over £100,000 in his first year from his villa in Bali. He built a network that directly accelerated his business in ways he hadn't planned for. He told me some of those connections were worth more to his business than the tax saving itself. That's not something you can put on the spreadsheet, but is absolutely of cost of where you are right now. So once someone tells me that they will sort this in a few months, once the cash flow is there, once the logistics are in place, once they feel ready, I want to be straight with you. Ready doesn't arrive. It never has for anyone I've worked with. What actually happens is the months pass, the number gets bigger, and the decision feels harder because there's more at stake. You're not waiting until you're ready, you're just continuing to pay. This isn't something you want to rush. Done correctly, this holds up for years. Done incorrectly, and I see it constantly with the quick setup companies promising results in 2 weeks, it quietly unravels. And by the time you find out, the bill is far bigger than anything you would have saved. So the right move isn't to wait until you feel ready. It's to start planning now. Do it properly and make sure every part of it is in place before you move. This is exactly why I built my free tax checker. In under 60 seconds, it will show you your current position, what you're likely overpaying, and whether 0% tax is realistic for you right now. The link is in the description. Go and check it out, and I'll see you in the next one.